The four printers we're going to be reviewing are this year's most hyped 3D printer, ELEGOO's Saturn 4 Ultra, the Uniformation GK2, Anycubic's Photon Mono M7 Pro, and Heygears Reflex RS. All of them have their pros and cons, and which you choose will depend on which features you value the most. These are the features we're going to compare, but pay particular attention to the last one because nothing will make a bigger difference to your printing than that one. Number 1. Models. I have printed a lot with all these machines, but to compare them fairly, I printed the same model on each, my trusty Uteraptor. It's a smaller scale miniature with lots of complex features and small textures. The perfect test. And the first thing I want to say straight off the bat is every single one of those printers will print great models, to the point where you almost can't tell the difference between them, and I wouldn't have any hesitations in recommending any of them and you getting something good out the back end of it. But that being said, I do have to rank them, so my ranking goes like this. The Saturn 4 Ultra gets 1 star, the GK2 gets 2 stars, the Anycubic gets 3 stars, and the printer that prints the best models is the Heygears Reflex RS. The models off this printer are some of the best I have ever seen, and that includes some injection moulded models and some cast resin too. Seriously impressive stuff. And so that's got us moving, so let's deal with the big one right away: price. There's nothing to discuss really here, so I'm just going to lay out the facts. The Saturn 4 is, for a printer of these size and specs, an absolutely staggering $529 RRP, or currently on sale for under $400. I don't know how ELEGOO are doing these low prices, but I for one am really glad that they are. The Uniformation GK2 is significantly more money at $649. The snappily named Anycubic Photon Mono M7 Pro has an RRP of $849, but you'll typically find it on sale for $499.99. Rounding off the pricing is a complete head turner, the Heygears Reflex RS, which is on sale currently at a whopping $999.99. There is a discount code you can find in the comments and that knocks another $50 off, but it's still easily the most expensive printer in this review. And that only gives you the base specs, it doesn't give you any of the add-ons, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So based on that, the Heygears gets 1 star, the GK2 gets 2 stars, the Anycubic gets 3 stars, and the Saturn gets 4 stars. Another quick one to talk about is build volume. Again, we're just laying out facts here. And so to start us off, the Saturn 4 Ultra comes in with a build volume of 5851 cm3. It's the smallest in the review. Next up is the Heygears RS with a build volume of 6229 cm3. Third is the Anycubic with 6462 cm3, and the biggest print volume you'll find on the printers today is the GK2 with a pretty impressive 7150 cm3. So that's all the easy bits talked about, and if you're still with me, do make sure you're signed up to my newsletter, which every month sends out an amazing free STL. This month it's this chap, courtesy of Mammoth Factory. Anyway, let's move on. As I said at the top of the video, what features are most important will depend on how you use the printer. So all I'm going to do is lay out the facts, and then at the end I'll talk about, in the conclusion, how they're relevant to you. But I am able to say that I've used all these machines for a number of months now, in the case of the GK2 over a year, with the exception that is of the Saturn, which is actually only a few weeks old. Thank you, ELEGOO. But I have had its smaller brother, the Mars 5 Ultra, for several months now, and this printer is essentially just a bigger version of that, with exactly the same features. So I do feel kind of qualified to talk about it. All the machines have built-in Wi-Fi, a USB port, onboard memory, and come with basic tools in the box, so I'm not really going to talk about that, just the extra bits. The big features from the Saturn are a tilting VAT, a 12K screen, self-leveling plate, sensors to detect debris and low resin, and a camera so you can make sweet time lapses. It's also got a resin calibration tool built into the UI. There isn't an inbuilt heater though. Now, of all those features, the tilting VAT is the most obvious and is unique to the Saturn 4 Ultra and the Mars 5 Ultra printers. It is genuinely very good, and it works by physically tilting the VAT once a layer is cured to reduce the peel forces, which essentially means two things: faster prints and lighter supports. Lighter supports mean that you can reduce the cleanup on the actual model itself, so that's a nice little feature. I talk about that feature more in my Mars 5 review, and so I'm not going to go into great detail here, but I will pop a link to that video down in the description below, so you can go and check that out if you want to. I will include one of the negatives about that feature in this review though, and that's the gap around the outside. I am kind of just waiting for the time I spill a load of resin and fill the internals of my printer with a load of uncurable goo. I'm not looking forward to that day, and that's definitely a risk, and also why the printer comes with that stupid bib. If that does happen to me, you'll be sure to hear about it. Hello, Future James here. It actually happened. Don't worry, the printer's fine, but I had to move it and a little bit of resin slopped down the side. Luckily, it was all caught by that little drip catcher there, but it could have been a lot worse. Do be careful, folks. That 12K screen results in some crispy minis, but it isn't really 12K. It's 11,520 by 5,120, so a bit of marketing going on there. And same with the self-leveling plate. It's actually leveled in the factory, and the plate itself is just spring-loaded, so it's really auto-zeroing, which may sound a little pedantic, but there's no way I can see to adjust the leveling, i.e. make the angle of the plate and the angle of the screen the same. And some customers I've seen on forums have flagged this as a problem. It isn't something I've run into on either the Mars or the Saturn reviews I've done, but you should know about it at least. Similarly with the sensors, I trust they're there, but I've never had an occasion to use them. I love the camera feature though. It's really cool, especially when you log into ChiTuBox and watch the live stream. But honestly, unless you make 3D printing videos, it's pretty useless in terms of workflow, so it's just a fun little gimmick. But the reason I chose this printer as my testbed, and I have chosen this printer as my testbed and it'll feature on the channel a lot in the next 12 months, is because of the amazing REF function. That just means it has a setting built into the UI, which means you can test 8 different exposure settings in one print, vastly speeding up the calibration of resins, which is a huge boon if, like me, you test lots of resins constantly or constant switching stuff in and switching stuff out, and you need to constantly work out which setting is best for which print. And unlike the REF functions that are available on Anycubic machines, you can set the calibrations to whatever you want them yourself, rather than just going up in set increments. I really like that feature, it's a really good one, and more printer manufacturers should roll it out. Thank you, ELEGOO. That makes calibrating my printer super easy. I do wish that ChiTuBox had like a REF grid or something like that shows you where you're placing the models is actually effective, because it's a bit of guesswork at the moment, and I sort of wish an exposure test existed that had numbered plates, instead of me just trying to work out and forgetting which one's which. But I guess that's a me problem, and I should probably get on with making one of those. To summarise, the Saturn IV is packed with features. The only major one that's missing is a heater, so if you live in a very cold climate, perhaps this printer isn't the best for you. Now, take a breath, because we're about to move on. But before we do, I'm sure you've noticed that this video is free. And the reason it's free is because of sponsors like PCBWay. PCBWay have supported me for a while now, and if you're into 3D printing cool stuff but don't have the space for multiple machines, then PCBWay offer a really cool online service to print almost anything you need, such as these giant Aquillas. These are for a top secret project coming in the new year, but I've also printed this Metal Dreadnought, which was the fulfillment of a long held fantasy for me, and all of that was made possible because I uploaded an STL to their website, chose a material and the colour, and then I received a quotation in just a few hours. Click, ship, and a project I would never have been able to achieve my own kit arrives on my doorstep. It's a cool thing to play with, and you should definitely check them out. The link is down in the description below, and thank you so much for PCBWay for sponsoring this video and keeping it free for you lot. Uniformation GK2 is the most basic, so it won't take as long, but don't let that fool you. With an 8K screen, an inbuilt air purifier and a quick release catch, as well as an inbuilt heater, the GK2 features are designed around a simple workflow. This printer is lacking some of the more exciting features you see on other printers, but as you'll find out later, spoiler alert, that's not such a bad thing. There isn't too much to say here beyond the standout feature of that heater, which is incredible at generating and keeping stable resin temperatures, so if you live in a cold country, then that could really be a deal breaker. It is worth mentioning though that the build quality of this machine is a cut above almost all the others, and I've used this machine myself for well over a year and it's an absolute workhorse. Next up, the Anycubic M7 Pro. Another feature-packed machine that on paper is the most capable sub $500 machine available right now. It has a 14K screen with the same caveats as every other screen number, an inbuilt heater, an auto resin refill or withdrawal, a crazy clever computer that makes the machine one of the fastest out there, but as you know if you've seen my review of this machine, all of that capability comes at a cost of extra complexity. And that's all summed up by the heating vat really. It's a really clever invention that has channels in the vat walls and an inbuilt pump to circulate the resin, which sounds great, until you have to clean it, or empty it. Don't get me wrong, it works really well, but it is a bit of a pain to use. Same with the resin pump. It's incredible if you use Anycubic resin, and only one type. If you use any other brand of resin, the resin pump won't fit onto the bottles. And if you use even other brands of Anycubic resin, you still have to flush through the autofill system before you can change resins. And when you come to clean it, that's when you'll likely find it very frustrating. The feature I cannot criticise though is the print quality nor the speed. I'll talk about the speed next, but this printer churns out amazing models, and for under $500 $200, if you mainly use one type of resin, ideally Anycubic, then I think you're going to love this machine. The last one in the list is the Reflex RS. This machine, in terms of technology, is top of the pile. Out of the box includes a fairly limited feature set, but those features are of very high quality. From the ball screw at the rear to the 8K calibrated screen, the whole suite of sensors which test pressure and resin levels, peel forces, as well as an ingenious autofill system that is as close as you get to a professional machine while still being under $1,000. I have obviously got a full review of this machine, which I've linked down below, so do go and check that out if you're interested. For this video, I will just say that although the features don't sound that impressive when you use the machine, particularly when teamed up with Heygears software and their resins, you will get the best models, the best dimensional accuracy, with the least effort of any printer here. There are some drawbacks though. The main one is what's not included in the box. The heater for one. Some may think it's a bonus not to include a heater, so therefore you don't have to pay for the additional cost. But for those of you that need a heater, the additional cost is $200. And that will give you access to the heated pulse release vat, as well as an IR sensor. What's pulse release, I hear you ask? Pulse release is an air compressor that inserts air between two layers of film in the vat. Essentially, it reduces peel forces in the same way the tilt function does on the Saturn. The cost for that pulse release? $649. So all of a sudden, a fully spec machine is $1,850, not $999. It's a lot. Oh, and one more thing, it uses proprietary resin. It's amazing resin, and it's not too expensive, but it is proprietary resin. I'm not going to talk about that here though, because I've already covered it in 3 previous videos, which you can find linked down below. Let's do stars. At number 1, possibly a little unfairly, is the GK2. With 1 star. The Reflex RS has 2 stars, the Saturn 4 Ultra has 3 stars, and the Anycubic M7 has 4 stars. Kudos to Anycubic for really pushing the envelope here. No, they didn't get it perfect. But if you're one of the few users who can truly use all of these features, then this is a deserved winner of this category. Speed is blessedly, and a little ironically, faster to talk about. To test this, I printed the same model, the awesome Useability, which is one of the free models my patrons have access to. You can find links below. At the same temperature, 25 degrees, and got the following results. The Reflex RS is the slowest printer in this review, at over 5 hours to print the models. So it gets 1 star. The GK2 is next at just over 3.5 hours, so gets 2 stars. The Anycubic was fast, at 2 hours and 15 minutes, and so comes in with the 3rd star, and 4 stars goes to the Saturn 4, which came in at a rapid 2 hours and 5 minutes. Now the last test sounds the least important, but it will make the biggest difference to your life. Once all the hype over the headline features has faded away, and you are cleaning the thing for the 100th time, this is when this is going to matter. The next test is what I call usability. Before we get on with that though, let's just check in with the scores, because a little bit of mental arithmetic shows me that it's pretty close. So the Saturn 4 is at the bottom with just 10 stars, closely followed by the GK2 with 12 and the Heygears RS with 13 stars, which means the Anycubic M7 Pro is out in front with a respectable 15 stars. Interesting. So usability takes into account the software the printer uses, the screen and the UI on the printer itself, and then how easy the printer is to clean after use. All but the RS can use any slicer. Now for most people that means either Lychee or Chittybox, both of which are excellent pieces of software, but of those 3, the Saturn slightly edges it because the extra feature set of the camera is accessible through Chittybox, so therefore it all feels a little bit more tightly packaged. The RS though uses Blueprint, and if you've seen my recent videos, you know my thoughts on that. But as a brief summary, I like it a lot. The auto supports are great, it's simple to use, and the customer support functions are baked in. On software, the RS takes this bit. The Anycubic has a great UI on the printer. I didn't find it as easy to use as other creators though, so let me know down in the comments if you think that's the case. But I can say that screen is super responsive and nice to use. The Saturn screen on the other hand is a bit small, but again, it's responsive, and in reality you're only ever gonna be limited by that small size when you're putting in the Wi-Fi code, which is probably once the entire time you use the printer. And don't forget that UI also includes that brilliant RERF tool, which frankly is a game changer. The Heygears is the most advanced with lovely graphics while you're printing and a live diagram showing pull forces and a responsive screen. And lastly the GK2, which although basic is easy to use and functional, but it's cleanup that's going to make the biggest difference to your life, in my opinion. And this is where it all falls apart for the Anycubic. The hood isn't fully refeed resistant, so if you don't wipe that down, right away, resin will cure on top of it. Because the heater block is attached to that, it's weird and heavy to empty, and when you do empty it, it's still not actually clean. Then you need to fill it up with IPA, no, not that kind of IPA, and flush out the heater channels. I'm assuming here that you aren't using the resin autofill. I know I'm certainly not, but if you are, you need to clean that too. All in all, it's just a faff and adds lots of extra steps and cost to what could have been a relatively simple process. The Saturn IV Ultra is better, but it's let down by that plate, which has a unique design featuring lots of little columns, and while it does mean the displacement of the plate isn't as great as it would have been had it been a solid plate, removing resin is really bloody tricky. You essentially need to get your finger in there or something and scrape all the resin out. It's a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest with you. And it's a black mark on what is otherwise a great printer. The Reflex is also let down by its build plate, which, because it's flat, means resin can't drain from it. Now they do ship a file for supporting the bracket, but again this is an annoying oversight in an otherwise amazing machine, and frustrating for a professional machine that should prioritise workflow over almost anything else. The rest of the cleanup is great though. The spout is good, the corners of the vat are rounded, and so the whole thing wipes down really easily. But the winner of this section is the GK2 by a mile. The build plate is smooth and flat and doesn't fully submerge, so you don't get resin everywhere. It has this neat little drip ring to stop you dripping resin as you're moving it from one place to another, and the vat is a simple shape too, which means everything is easy to clean down with just wiping it. It's just a really well thought out design. So I'm going to rank them, with the Anycubic receiving 1 star, the Saturn with 2, the Reflex with 3, and the GK2 coming in at the top with 4 stars. And that means we have 3 printers tied for first place, and the Saturn IV Ultra is at the back. The best 10-inch printer you can buy right now is inconclusive, except it isn't. In reality, what this shows is you can't really go wrong here. The M7 Pro is a feature-packed printer with a massive build volume that prints great-looking models lightning fast, but it's let down by the fact that those features are fussy to use and it's a very difficult machine to clean thoroughly. Lots of the features that come pre-packaged inside the printer are only applicable to a very small number of people, case in point being that autofill. But if you are one of those people, hands down, you should go and buy this machine. It's amazing. If the speed doesn't matter, in my opinion, it doesn't, and cleanup and workflow is the most important, then my pick would be the GK2, particularly if you find yourself in a colder country needing a heater. This printer, despite the fact it's starting to show its age slightly, is still incredible. If though you need to have the best machine and budget isn't a concern, then the Reflex should be your pick. The models are the best available right now, and the accuracy of the prints mean that for parts and complex models, it's unbeatable. The fact that I have this machine means it's absolutely my go-to printer. But honestly, if I didn't, there's no way I would spend nearly $2,000 on a printer. Without further ado, the 10-inch printer I would recommend is the worst one in this test, the Saturn IV Ultra. It's affordable, it's fast, and it's packed full of relevant features. The fact is, I chose the Saturn IV Ultra to be my main testbed printer for when I need to print third-party resins on the channel. And if that doesn't show you how much I rate it, I don't know what does. I will of course need to work out solutions to the heating, because that's going to become a problem in this country very fast, and I need to get over the fact that it's a bloody difficult machine to clean up. But those problems are massively offset for me by that RERF function, which allows me to cure and test resins very quickly, and that camera function which will allow me to generate time lapses really simply and just save me lots of time. So technically this is the worst printer in this review, but it's fast, it prints good models, and all of the features are relevant to me. So for me, it's a no-brainer. There are links down below in the description for all the printers I've talked about in this video, and clicking on those I will get a little kickback, which is a nice way to say thank you. And of course you can ask me any questions you like down in the comments. Do make sure you're signed up to my newsletter, which every month sends out an amazing free STL. This month it's this chap, courtesy of Mammoth Factory. And I guess all that's left to say is a huge thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, an incredible amount of thanks to my patrons, you know who you are, and I'll see you next time.